What if the greatest power in Middle-earth wasn't about domination or control, but simply being? What if the One Ring, a symbol of the darkest evil, had no hold over someone so seemingly insignificant in the grand narrative that even Sauron, the Dark Lord himself, chose to ignore him? Tom Bombadil stands at the heart of this question, a being whose very existence defies the rules that govern the rest of Middle-earth. In the shadowed heart of the old forest, where ancient trees whisper secrets older than the elves themselves, a peculiar figure moves through the mists. His movements are almost comical, his blue jacket twirling between gnarled trunks, his yellow boots kicking up leaves, and his voice raised in songs that make no sense to mortal ears. Yet when Tom places the One Ring upon his finger, a moment that should shake the foundations of Middle-earth, something extraordinary occurs. Nothing happens. The ring, forged in the fires of Mount Doom, tempered with Sauron's own essence, blessed with power to corrupt the mightiest of elves and seduce the wisest of wizards, becomes nothing more than a golden trinket in his hand. He treats it as casually as a child's plaything. This weapon, which has shaped the destiny of nations, is utterly irrelevant in Tom's presence. When Frodo, the bearer of the ring, vanishes from sight, as all mortals must when they wear it, Tom sees him immediately. No power of the ring works against him. It is as if the ring's magic were nothing more than a mist. "Hey there," Tom calls, his gaze unerringly finding Frodo. "Where be you going? Old Tom Bombadil's not as blind as that. Take off your golden ring. Your hands are fairer without it. Come back, leave your game, and sit down beside me. We must talk a while more and think about the morning. Tom must teach the right road and keep your feet from wandering." These are not tales spun by wandering bards or legends half-remembered through the ages. They are events recorded in the Red Book of Westmarch, and they raise a question that must have haunted even Sauron in his Dark Tower. What manner of being could treat the Dark Lord's masterwork with such casual dismissal? As Frodo and his companions venture deeper into the old forest, the ancient malice that lurks within its shadowy depths becomes evident. The very air here is thick with dark energy, and the trees themselves seem to have a life and hunger of their own. One tree, in particular, stands as a looming threat: Old Man Willow. This ancient spirit of the forest, twisted by centuries of malice, towers over the hobbits with its massive grey trunk split with hungry mouths and roots that crave prey. The hobbits, unaware of the danger, are drawn into Old Man Willow's grasp. His roots snake out, coiling around them, pulling them into the dark earth beneath. The air grows heavy, thick, with a deep, unsettling presence. It's a trap, one as old as the forest itself. But just as hope begins to fade, a voice, clear and strong, rings through the gloom. It's Tom Bombadil's voice, lilting and light, singing a cheerful tune as he approaches. His steps are casual, unhurried, as though the danger around him holds no power. With a single verse of his song, Tom commands the ancient tree. Old Man Willow, whose roots have ensnared many in their time, shudders as if struck by lightning. His jaws, which had snapped shut with hunger, fall open in fear. The malevolent tree recoils, as if struck by an unseen force, and the hobbits are released from his grasp. Tom doesn't raise a hand or cast a spell. His song, woven with an old and simple magic, is enough. No incantations are spoken, no great effort is made, only the command of his voice. The power of the forest, ancient and twisted, is shattered in the face of Tom's carefree presence. It is as if the very malice that permeates the air bends to his will, not through force, but through something far older, more fundamental. This is no ordinary being. Tom Bombadil, whose laughter dances through the forest like the wind, is a force of nature itself. The malevolent tree, which has terrorized those who ventured too far into the forest, has no choice but to obey him. In this moment, we see a glimpse of the truth that even the dark powers of the world cannot comprehend. Tom is not bound by the rules of power and domination. He exists outside them, in a place untouched by the struggles of good and evil. Later, in the Barrow Downs, where even the bravest rangers fear to tread, Tom's power is once again on display. The Barrow-wights, ancient undead spirits that have haunted the hills since the time of the Witch King, loom as threats to the hobbits. These spirits, whose voices can paralyze the living with terror, have held dominion over the land for centuries. Yet when Tom arrives, singing his merry tune, the wights fall silent. Their ancient curses unravel in the presence of his song. The spirits, once terrifying in their power, retreat before his approach, as if banished by a force far beyond the reach of their dark magic. Once again, there is no mighty clash of powers, no great struggle. Tom's presence alone is enough to dispel the wights, whose cold power has held sway for ages. His cheerful melodies are more potent than any spell of banishment or enchanted blade. The undead, once creatures of terrifying strength, are nothing more than shadows in the face of Tom's unshakable joy. The power that Tom wields is not one of force or struggle. It is the power of simple existence, of harmony with the world around him. He does not seek to defeat evil, but to live in a world untouched by it. The very presence of this singing, dancing figure in the woods challenges the very nature of power itself, raising a question that even Sauron, in all his dark cunning, cannot answer. What is Tom Bombadil? The One Ring, forged in the fires of Mount Doom, is the symbol of ultimate power and corruption. It bends the wills of kings, turns the hearts of the wisest to shadows, and even tempts the purest of souls. It is a force that defines the very struggle of good against evil in Middle-earth. And yet when Tom Bombadil handles the ring, it loses all its potency. Frodo, the ring-bearer, feels the weight of its influence with every passing moment, his thoughts often consumed by its power. The ring whispers to him, urging him to keep it, to use it, to yield to its dark pull. Even those who have resisted its call, the noble Gandalf, the valiant Aragorn, have not been immune to its subtle manipulation. Yet when Frodo encounters Tom, something altogether unexpected happens. The ring loses its power to corrupt. In Tom's house, as they sit by the fire, Frodo hesitates for a moment before taking off the ring. He offers it to Tom, the one person in Middle-earth who has not fallen under its thrall. "Show me the precious ring," Tom asks in the midst of their conversation, his tone playful, his eyes gleaming with a light that seems to know no darkness. Frodo, almost without thinking, takes out the ring from his pocket and hands it over. There is no hesitation, no struggle. The ring does not compel him. There is no surge of desire to keep it for himself. It is as though the very nature of the ring dissolves in Tom's presence. This moment is unlike any other. For the first time, Frodo feels no urge to protect the ring, no instinct to keep it safe from harm. Instead, it is passed over with ease, as if it were just another object, an insignificant trinket, no more valuable than a ring of silver or copper. Tom takes the ring, holds it up to the light, and casually places it on his finger. Nothing happens. Where others would vanish from sight, swallowed by the ring's power, Tom remains fully visible. No shadow embraces him, no distortion of form. He simply exists. Tom takes the ring off spins it in the air, and with a flash, it vanishes from his hand. Frodo gasps, his heart racing. The ring, which had eluded him for so long, had been treated as if it were nothing. It was returned to him as effortlessly as if it were an everyday object. This simple act, so devoid of drama and struggle, reveals something far deeper than the ring's physical power. Tom does not reject the ring, nor does he overcome it. He simply renders it irrelevant. The ring's power to corrupt, to control, to dominate means nothing in his presence. It is a non-entity, a mere bauble in the hands of someone who lives outside the sphere of influence that the ring embodies. What does this mean for Middle-earth, for the conflict that has come to define the age? It suggests that there is something far more fundamental than power, far more enduring than the forces of domination and control. Tom's casual indifference to the ring, to the very concepts that fuel the world's greatest struggles, is a revelation. In him, power has no meaning. In his realm, corruption is irrelevant. Even Sauron, who had spent millennia twisting beings and worlds to his will, would be powerless in Tom's domain. For Sauron's dark magic is a force of domination, of bending and breaking, whereas Tom's essence is a force of pure existence, a harmony that resists manipulation or coercion. This is the true nature of Tom Bombadil, a being whose very presence reveals the ultimate irrelevance of power, corruption, and domination. He is not a force that fights against evil, nor does he stand for good. He simply is. In his songs, in his carefree movements, in his joyous dance through the old forest, Tom embodies a kind of truth that transcends all the battles fought between light and darkness, between good and evil. The wars, the rings, the mighty sorceries, they are all but fleeting echoes of a deeper, more enduring truth. Tom's indifference to the ring, his ability to render it inconsequential, shakes the foundations of the struggle that defines Middle-earth's fate. The One Ring is a tool of control, yet Tom is a being who cannot be controlled. And in his refusal to play the game of power, Tom exposes a truth that frightens even the Dark Lord Sauron, that perhaps the greatest power is not the ability to control, but the freedom from it entirely. As the journey progresses, and Frodo and his companions leave the realm of Tom Bombadil, they are forever marked by the profound nature of their encounter. The ring weighs heavily in Frodo's mind, its sinister whispers creeping back into his thoughts. Yet, there is a subtle shift within him, an awareness that Tom's indifference to the ring has planted a seed of doubt in the very foundation of his belief in the ring's power. For the first time, Frodo begins to question the narrative that has driven the great struggles of Middle-earth. The ring is not all-powerful. There are forces, like Tom, for whom the ring simply does not matter. Tom's presence, his songs, his carefree joy, all seem to exist outside the eternal battle of good versus evil that rages across the land. When Frodo and Sam speak of their experiences in the old forest, there is a strange quietude in their hearts. They know that what they witnessed there was not a mere quirk of fate, but a truth too vast to comprehend fully. Tom Bombadil, it seems, embodies something far more fundamental than any of the struggles Middle-earth has known, a truth that transcends time, power, and even existence itself. The more Frodo reflects, the more he comes to understand that Tom is not a mere anomaly. He is a being whose existence is rooted in something older than the world itself. He is a constant, a presence in Middle-earth that predates even the shaping of the world by the Valar. Tom's realm, untouched by Sauron's corruption and unaffected by the ring's power, hints at something far greater, a primordial essence that predates all that the world has come to know. What Tom represents, at the deepest level, is the idea that true power is not about control, conquest, or domination. It is not even about resistance or rebellion. True power, Tom suggests, lies in simply being, existing harmoniously with the world around you, free from the need to influence or shape it. In a way, Tom is the embodiment of the world before it was corrupted by the forces of light and darkness. His carefree laughter and his joyful dances are reminders that existence itself, pure and untouched by the turmoil of the world, is the most profound power of all. Sauron, the Dark Lord, may control vast armies and weave his will through the ring. But in the face of Tom, his power is meaningless. The very fabric of Tom's existence renders Sauron's efforts irrelevant. The ring, a creation of Sauron's malice, has no bearing on Tom Bombadil, for Tom exists beyond its reach. His indifference to the ring, his carefree dismissal of all the forces that have shaped Middle-earth's history, serves as a reminder that the world is not defined by power struggles or the battle between good and evil. The true essence of the world lies in being, in existing without the need for domination or control. As the tale of the ring progresses, Frodo and his companions are bound by a destiny they cannot escape. But in their hearts, a whisper of Tom's song lingers. The world is not only what it appears to be, shaped by the forces that bend it. There is a deeper truth, a more fundamental power that exists beyond the reach of even the greatest powers in Middle-earth. And in Tom Bombadil, this truth is personified. The journey ahead will be fraught with danger, and the ring's hold on Frodo will continue to grow stronger. Yet, in the quiet recesses of his mind, Frodo knows that there is something that the ring cannot touch. There is a power greater than the ring, a power of existence, of being, of harmony. It is a power that, like Tom, does not fight against evil, but exists outside it, untouched and undisturbed. Tom Bombadil's mystery remains unresolved. He is a question mark dancing through the old forest, singing songs that make no sense to mortal ears, yet somehow echo with a meaning older than words. He is a living contradiction to everything the Dark Lord Sauron has built his power upon. For Sauron, control is the ultimate goal. For Tom, existence is the ultimate truth. And so, Tom's realm remains untouched by the struggles of Middle-earth. His laughter, his carefree song, and his indifference to the forces of power continue to haunt the minds of those who have glimpsed his existence. The mysteries of Tom Bombadil will never be fully understood, but one thing is certain. In his presence, all the power and corruption of the world lose their meaning. For Tom Bombadil is a reminder that true power is not about control, but about simply being.